Welcome to the Seniors Rock Show, presented by the Law Office of Michael Robinson, PC, on News Radio, Wham 1180. The Seniors Rock Show, a lively weekly discussion shining a bright light on aging with fun, entertainment, and important info for all adults. Join in with your comments or questions. Call or text 222-1180 or 1-800-295-1180. Now from the News Radio Wham 1180 studio in downtown Rochester, here's your host, Joanna Palvino.
Well, hi there. I'm Joanna, and I am here today with our co-host, estate planning attorney Mike Robinson, and Pam, our show's studio producer. Thank you for joining us. And if you're new to the show and to us, then welcome. And we do hope you enjoy the show today. We've got a mix of entertainment and important info, and we do try to do that every week as we shine a bright light on aging, as we say, and we do that together. And hey, there's strength in numbers, as we like to say too. But anyway, advocacy for older adults is at the core of what we do here on the show. And part of that is our belief that everyone can use some positivity these days. And that's no matter what age you are. And we get a lot of negativity out there, and we'd like to take an hour each week and try to make that more positive. So we hope you enjoy it. And today's show is a good example of our mission as we kick off with what I always think of as the first sign of spring. Do you know what I'm talking about, Pam? Oh, she's on the phone. Sorry. The St. Patrick's Day Parade. I'll fill in the blank for you. Then we're going to hear from Dr. Laura PETRESCU on healthy eating. Her internal medicine practice, Athena Direct Primary Care, includes lifestyle medicine, and that is to support her patients. And she's amazing at it. And two things I think that should always go together are medicine and lifestyle. So we'll listen to Dr. Petrescu later in the show. Speaking of things that go together, attorney Mike Robinson has really connected with our audience, and I'm so happy to have him here with us every week. We're grateful for his insight in both estate planning topics and for his interest in sharing on other topics like brain science and mindset. Yep, he's the smart one. And Mike, how you doing? Happy Saturday.
Hey, Joanna, happy Saturday. And wow, what a Saturday it is, huh?
Yeah, wow. I guess we're getting that winter we didn't think we were going to get.
I know it. I know it. I actually fired up the snowblower for the first time this season this morning.
Wow.
So
That's wild.
we'll get out the cross-country skis, I think, this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, first time for that too. So it's been a winter, sort of.
Mhm.
Anyway, yes, we're going to get back this week to our discussion of how our brains work, and we're actually going to finish up a discussion that we started a couple of weeks ago about confirmation bias. And as we talked about, confirmation bias is our tendency to favor information that supports an already held opinion or belief, and to discount or even ignore information that challenges that opinion or belief. It's almost always unconscious. Every one of us experiences it. We identified 3 different types of confirmation bias: biased search, biased interpretation, biased memories. And we also looked at some theories about why we have confirmation bias in the first place. And finally, we learned that the effect of confirmation bias is stronger for emotionally charged issues and deeply held beliefs. So this week, let's discuss what are the implications of confirmation bias, and can we do anything about it? And, I think, Joanna, the implications are probably pretty obvious. If confirmation bias leads to wrong or inaccurate information, and if good decisions depend on good information, then confirmation bias can lead to a lot of bad decisions. And that's the old garbage in, garbage out axiom. And that, has implications in every area of our lives, in our personal relationships, certainly in matters of law and policy, healthcare, hiring in the workplace, pretty much any place we're interacting with other humans. Confirmation bias can be an issue. So if we know it's there, and if it's something that we can't really do anything about in terms of we can't stop it, how do we deal with confirmation bias? Well, I think the first thing is simply to accept the fact that you have it. And it doesn't make you a lesser person. It's how each of our brains work, and we can't make it go away. But by accepting and acknowledging that it's an issue, we're able to be aware that it might be influencing us. Also, when we read an article, one thing we can do is be sure to read the entire article and not just judge a topic by its headline.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just easy to do. We're all busy. We're trying to just, move through things quickly. And when I say to read the article, it's important to actually read it and not just skim it. I don't know about you, but I have a tendency sometimes to skim articles just because I feel like I am in a hurry. But the
Do you do that?
problem,
Wait, Mike, do you do
yeah,
this? Somebody told me one time, a gal that I knew that took a speed reading class. So I was fascinated by that. And she told me kind of like a little trick. She said, you just kind of read down the center of the information. And I do tend to do that. And I probably miss half of it. But, as you said, we feel like, we don't have enough time. So good point.
and that's it. And so the issue and how that relates to confirmation bias is that when we do that, our brain's tendency is just going to be to pick up the information that supports our already held belief. That's what's going to be jumping out at us. And so even
Interesting.
though, as I say, I'm guilty of it too, when we do that, that tends to lead to some confirmation bias. Yeah, the other thing I always think about too is if the article is citing evidence to back up a position, ask ourselves, well, how reliable is that evidence?
Hmm.
Is it something that bears some additional scrutiny? Same
Yeah.
thing with news reports we hear on the radio or we see on television. Does that information being presented deserve some fact checking?
Especially
Um,
online, I've got to jump in there and say that. I mean, there's so much bad information online. It's terrible. It's a great resource for good information, but then again, there's more.
Exactly. And that leads to another point is, it is a great source of information, but as you say, you get the good with the bad. We don't want to rely on social media apps for our news because remember, those apps are engineered to provide us with information that supports our current views and not to provide us with information that challenges those views. And in along the same lines, just where are we going for our news? Do we always go to the same place, and is it a place that it's comfortable for us because it's something that supports beliefs that we already have? I think it's
Hmm.
important to challenge ourselves, at least periodically, look for information from outlets, in fact, that don't agree with your beliefs, and see maybe if there's something to be learned from that different perspective. So
Hmm.
the biggest thing really is the awareness. If we know it happens, and we're aware that it happens to us just like it does to anybody else, then it helps us, be on the lookout for when is confirmation bias influencing decisions.
Absolutely. And you're totally right on this again because I wasn't aware of some of these things and totally guilty, just like every other human on earth. But yeah, as you said, accepting and acknowledging it and learning more about it makes us aware, and then we can figure out how it's influencing us. And very interesting topic. I love this stuff.
It is an interesting stuff, and as we talked about when we sort of began the series, having just a decent understanding of the way that the brain works, and what are things we can do about it, what can't we do about it. It just improves our quality of life.
Hmm. And what about the three? I was fascinated by the three different types. Have they put everything into these types, or is just these are three samples? I don't know, but I'm going to tell the folks again what you said, and identify three different types of confirmation bias. One is biased search, one is biased interpretation, and one is biased memories. And boy, it all makes sense. Are those the three that they group everything into?
Pretty much. I mean, it's an interesting topic, and there's a lot that's still there's different theories about different ways this operates, but the general consensus is that it exists and it does tend to manifest itself in those three ways. Biased search, again, is just where does our brain go for the information? And again, it's so often it's unconscious. Biased interpretation, that's something we've all experienced where two people can read the same article or hear the same report and come away with two completely different perspectives on what it was about.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then biased memories is interesting. This is truly unconscious. It's just that the way our memories work, we tend to remember events and bits of information, again, that support previously held beliefs, and things that might challenge those beliefs tend to kind of fall by the wayside, if you will.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, I like how you said that it can affect your personal relationships because I don't think, we're talking about reading and looking things up and so on. But boy, biased interpretation certainly comes into that category, I think, personal relationships. I've a few times, we've had differing opinions on the same subject, or we're thinking that, why don't you understand what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. So it all falls into place. Very
It
good.
does.
Thank you, Mike, for bringing that to the table
You're welcome. And
and your
we're going to come
interpretation
back
of
and
it.
hear about the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Woohoo! We'll be right back, folks. Don't go away.
When you've lost movement, flexibility, strength, or balance, traveling a long distance for physical therapy seems like a bad decision. That's why Agape Physical Therapy has a convenient location near you, east side or west side. And there's a new location in Pittsford with Aqua Therapy. Let Agape Physical Therapy and wellness professionals customize a treatment program for you to help you recover quickly. Visit agapephysicaltherapy.com and schedule your free consultation today. No doctor referral needed.
Ready! Pass, pipes and drums! By the center! Quick! March!
Welcome back to Seniors Rock. And boy, I love the bagpipes. And who hasn't heard that in a parade if you've ever gone to one? And I'm excited now to tell you that Mark Dowdell is joining us, and he is here to tell us all about the St. Patrick's Day parade this year. And we're talking to him by phone, by the way. He's live right now from the parade route. And he and some other volunteers are out there handing out flyers, and they're walking along the route, I think, or riding. I don't know what you're riding on, Mark, but you're letting the residents know, I understand, about the parade. So good for you guys. Sorry you got the weather you got today, but maybe next week will be beautiful. Hi, Mark. How you doing?
Doing well, Joanna. How are you doing? Hello, Michael.
Hello, Mark.
Good to see
Good
you.
to hear
Good to
your
have us
voice. How's it
together
going
again.
out there? Are you getting people excited?
Oh, we're doing our best to broadcast, obviously, but the upcoming parade next Saturday, March 11th. Today, our business is to remind the residents along the East Avenue corridor that we'll be staging up there, that parking and driving in and out of your domicile might be a little bit different next week than it would be normally. So it's just a common courtesy that we extend that we agreed upon with the city. It's a great idea, but we're out there doing that today to be sure everybody's not surprised come next Saturday.
Well, you're very thoughtful to do that, and I think it's the biggest parade of the year as far as I know, and it's very exciting. I think this is the second year now that you're live again after the pandemic, right?
It is the largest single day event in the city. We boast anywhere from, weather permitting, of course, anywhere from 20,000 to upward near 100,000 people will come out and attend the parade, depending on what kind of sunny day we can conjure up there. Hopefully,
Yeah.
like you said, we're getting the crummy weather out of the way today, so that we can put the melting in, and then next week somewhere. We always just wish for a 40-degree day with no precipitation, and life is grand to see all the people up and down the avenue smiling and with their shamrocks and with their green on. It's a wonderful day, a wonderful event to center around the city and the community.
It certainly is. And I know, you always have great bands. You have dance schools. In fact, the Grand Marshal this year, I understand, is the Gates Keystone Police Club Pipes and Drums. And I was excited to see that. You've got a lot of really cool honorees this year.
We do. We're honored to have the Gates Police Pipes and Drums to be our lead honoree, the Grand Marshal this year. They've been such a stalwart member of our community, let alone the parade itself. But like you said, there's nothing about a pipe band that doesn't get the goosebumps rising and the chill of the excitement of the spring coming, as well as it's festival season. Let's face it, and we kind of kick it off for the area. To list some of the other honorees, which we're very, very proud of this year again, we have as our community organization of the year, the School of the Holy Childhood. Our Citizen of the Year is Parade Committee member Mike Heaney, been a long-time Ancient Order of Hibernians member, as well as our treasurer for the last 15 years. Community Leader of the Year is our own Mary Therese Friel. You may remember that name, 1979 Miss USA. Absolutely wonderful woman. She runs an awful lot of charitable organization goings on now. Just still a stalwart member of the community, a great person to have out front. Our business leader is Tops Friendly Market, our sponsor, a major sponsor. We have Thad Brown from WROC as our sports person of the year, and two honorary marshals in their retirement year of Jenny Ryan and Doug Umrich from Channel 13. Also, we honor those people that have passed from the community that are recognizable, not only as Irish, but people that are of value too. Bishop Matthew Clark passed most recently. Barry Culhane from RIT, and just a mecca of the community. Frank Durham, Tim McCormack, and our own Jim O'Reilly from the Ancient Order of Hibernians. A wonderful, wonderful honorary group we have this year.
Oh, sounds great, Mark. And what can people expect to see when they go down to the parade?
Well, the parade runs from East Avenue at Alexander, the starting point. It takes the bend on Main Street and then goes down as far as the county office building down near Fitzhugh. We've got jugglers, we've got the leprechaun, we've got St. Patrick himself, we've got bands and dance schools, everything that you'd want to see after a long winter's nap. Something to get yourself out and revive your spirit and community, and to gather together under the guise of St. Patrick, our patron saint from Ireland. We have quite a few events that surround the parade itself. First of all, Friday the 10th, we have the painting of the green. The traditional ceremonial green stripe gets painted down Main Street to show people the parade route. That evening at the War Memorial, we have Irish Night with the Amherst Hockey and a home game. Saturday, the day of the parade, we have Mass at St. Mary's. That's at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then we're rekindling a relationship that we've had in the past, which is kind of separated a little bit, but the Running of the Green, presented by the YMCA and the Rochester Running Company, a 5-mile race that starts and ends at Parcel 5 on Main Street. And we're just happy to be in partnership with them again. They work very, very, very diligently in order to put this together, and we'd love to see them have a great turnout for their race as well. 10:30 at the county office building, we have our raising of the flags, where all flag standers will raise the tricolor for Ireland. And then 12:30 at Easton Alexander, we will kick off and step off on the Tops Rochester St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Mark, I hear some music there. It's not the pipes, but we're going to have to go. But there is a Celtic Family Fair I wanted to mention, too, that's alcohol-free, folks. So bring the kids to that. That's 1 to 4 at the Hilton Garden. Mark, thanks for joining us today. I'm so excited. I'll see you next week at the parade. And, folks, you can get more information at rochesterparade.com. Anything else before we go?
It's at the Hilton Garden Inn, our headquarters. For the wee ones, and if the weather is inclement, it's a nice place for them to hang out. There's all sorts of activities and things for the kids there, too.
Absolutely. Hey, say hi to Kate and the gang. We'll see you real soon. Take care.
All right, Joanna. Thank you, and Michael, appreciate your time.
Thanks, Mark.
You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. And you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant.
And welcome back. You're listening to Seniors Rock Radio. I'm estate planning attorney Mike Robinson, and joining us now is a regular guest expert on Seniors Rock Radio, Dr. Laura PETRESCU. She is the founder of the only direct primary care practice in the region, Athena Direct Primary Care and Lifestyle Medicine. Dr. Petrescu always has great tips for us, and today's topic, healthy eating, is another one. Hello, Dr. Petrescu, and welcome back.
Hi, Mike and Joanna. I'm happy to be back on the show with you.
Well, we're happy to have you here, doctor. And, I guess we're going to start with the obvious. There's so many diets out there that are promoted all over the place. We see all these things, and it's so confusing. So I'm going to start with the basic question. What is a healthy diet?
Well, a healthy diet, and I would start with the word diet. I have a problem with that because a diet would imply that we do something out of ordinary. Instead, we should focus on healthy nutrition, healthy eating instead of diets. So how about healthy eating for humans? Typically, in a nutshell, that would mean a balanced diet, a whole variety of food groups that come with different nutrients. As a simple rule of thumb, 60% of calories coming from complex carbohydrates, which is fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and seeds, and legumes. 10 to 15% of calories coming from protein, lean protein. I think we talked on the show before about the definition of that, a lean protein, protein source without fat. Well, it depends. If someone is training, we can go a little higher on that percentage. And 25 to 30% of calories coming from healthy fats. So a good balanced nutrition for humans will align with those general guidelines.
Aha.
Got it. And doctor, what about, I know a lot of people take supplements for weight loss purposes. Is that safe?
Very good question. And supplement market is a huge industry out there. And I want our listeners to be aware and be informed and be educated about supplements. So there are two major categories of supplements. Number one is things that are really not harmful. If you look at the ingredients, they're a cocktail of vitamins and minerals and those kind of things that they're typically not harmful apart from the financial harm that you have to pay those money to buy those things. And in the world of lifestyle medicine, we know food is medicine. So what I advise my patients is to save the money that they pay on those supplements and buy themselves real food that should provide people with all vitamins, minerals, and micro and macronutrients they need to stay healthy. That's the first class. The second class of supplements are the harmful supplements out there on the market, and I want our listeners to be aware of those as well. So typically, those supplements that are marketed for weight loss, and I invite everyone to really pay attention and read the ingredients and read every single line of components of the supplements. Some of the supplements for weight loss have a cocktail of hormones, like thyroid hormones, steroids, and things like that, and stimulants or high doses of caffeine in those, which can be very harmful if you're not really aware of the dangers of those and put that in the context of patients' health. So if we're talking a very healthy, young 20-year-old person, may react differently and may be tolerating those kind of things, but for most people that can be quite harmful. So I invite our listeners to pay attention to those supplements and really know the resources, where those are coming from, who's recommending them, and make sure to consult with their doctor about the safety of those supplements.
Very good. And is there a place to go to check these things? I guess not. I guess talking to your doctor is the most important thing you can do. And I'm going to bring up another subject. I have a specific friend who has tried pretty much every way that you can think of to lose weight, and it always happens, but it always comes back. So we often call this the yo-yo effect, Why do people lose weight like that and then regain it, doctor?
Very good question, Joanna. So that's exactly right. That's why we don't like to talk about diets, but lifestyle changes. So what happens is people can go on drastic diets, very unhealthy diets, things like lose 40 pounds in 40 days. You hear all sorts of things, and which can happen absolutely if you do a very drastic diet. You can lose that much weight. However, is that a healthy way? Are you losing water mass and muscle mass instead of fat? And that kind of dieting, unhealthy diets, can completely dysregulate one's own metabolism. So when you come off this diet, then your body will tend to go back on homeostasis, go back to their previous set point of their weight. So more important than the weight loss goal itself is to make sure you do that in a healthy way, to retrain your brain and your metabolism to process fats and calories properly, and do that under the guidance of a physician who has training on weight and metabolism and really understand how your body functions and what do you need to achieve that weight loss.
Great.
So I do not recommend people do drastic diets, but talk to their doctor about healthy nutrition.
And I was going to mention, Dr. Petrescu, that you have a tool there in your office that I'd never heard of before, and it's the body composition test that you do. And you did it with me, and it was very fascinating to find out how many pounds of water my body is, how many pounds of fat my body is, and to have, a starting point as you're trying to be healthy and to, do things the right way, to retest to see how that's going. I thought that was very interesting.
Yes, that's right. That's a very wonderful tool to monitor weight and progression of, measure progress with nutrition and lifestyle changes.
Well, this has been another fascinating segment, Doctor. And if you'd like to speak with Dr. Laura Petrescu, MD, you can reach her at her office in Pittsford, New York, and you can get lots more information on wonderful things and her unique practice at AthenaDirectCare.com. Thank you so much for joining us again today, Dr. Laura Petrescu.
My pleasure, Joanna.
Have a great rest of your weekend. And thanks, folks, for listening to Seniors Rock Radio. We are going to be coming back, so stay here over this short break.
Rockvox Recording and Production is Western New York's first purpose-built podcast and live stream studio, featuring Zcam digital cinema cameras, Rode Procaster microphones, and over 25 years of audio and visual production experience. Rockvox also specializes in audiobook production for independent and self-published authors, as well as voiceover recording for radio, TV, film, and telephony. Learn more about our Bushnell's Basin studios and services at rocvox.com or follow us on social media. Mouth off at Rockvox.
I am woman, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore, and I know too much to go back and pretend, 'cause I've heard it all before, and I've been down there on the floor. No one's ever gonna keep me down again. Whoa, yes, I am wise, but it's wisdom.
And welcome back once again to Seniors Rock Radio, and that's an appropriate song. This is our first show in the month of March, and March is National Women's History Month. So Helen Reddy takes us in.
Yes, it is. And that 1971 is actually when I graduated from high school. That was East High School in Rochester, New York.
Aha. My grandfather graduated from East High School
Yeah.
long before you were there, of course.
Oh, I was going to say, thanks for throwing that in.
Yeah, no worries. Happy to be of assistance. Hey, I also want to, speaking of Women's History Month, I want to give a shout out to my alma mater, Hamilton College women's hockey team. They beat Colby College last night in the NESCAC semifinals, and they're playing Amherst tonight at Amherst for the championship. So
Terrific. Good
go
going.
Go Continentals. Yeah, actually, the men's basketball team, they won their first round game last night in the NCAA Division III men's basketball tournament. So good
Wow.
weekend for Hamilton.
Yeah, I'll say terrific. And didn't you play football for them? Or
I
no?
did. We
Yeah.
didn't win any championships of any sort. In fact, we didn't win very many games, but that's all right. That was
Good
fun. Hey,
memories, right?
absolutely. And speaking of history, yesterday and today, the anniversary of the 1991 ice storm.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was crazy. I had 11 days. Everybody else compares how many days, but I remember going in the elevator up to the station with my hair dryer to blow my hair dry in the bathroom there before work. How
Well,
funny.
I was living in Naples at the time, and my office was in Naples as well. And my office never lost power. Our electric line got stripped off the house, but we never lost power at the house either.
Wow, lucky. Yeah, there you were out in the rural area there, and you were all safe. That's great. Yeah,
It was
it
good.
was beautiful though. I have to say, I'll never forget the noise of that though, the cracking of the ice and
Oh,
the
wasn't that
limbs.
something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
crashing down. It was like being in another world. It really was.
it
And
was. And
yeah,
of course, we all lost a lot of trees. That wasn't
right.
good. But
Very sad.
March does bring us some strange weather. How about that lightning last night?
Yes, that was wild. Snow lightning or whatever they called it. Yeah, it lit up our living room. I was like, "Whoa." And of course the dog started shaking. I was like, "What's happening?" Yeah, I did see it and hear it. That was crazy. And also the Venus and Saturn. Thank you for putting that on your post because I did run out and looked up and I got it and I even got a picture of the two together almost kissing.
That was quite the sight. Yeah, that was fun to see.
I wonder how many UFO calls went in for that. 'Cause I
Yeah, right.
yeah,
I
our
I
son saw
wonder.
it, he didn't know what it was. He says, That's what it was."
Yeah, and I had friends across the country taking pictures of it, and so it was I guess it was nice clear weather for enough folks to see it.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. And there's a lot happening in March, as you said. And I do want to. I'm going to call this my "Don't Forget" update here. Don't forget that next Saturday, March 11th, is the St. Patrick's Day Parade in downtown Rochester. It's a great day to celebrate spring together. So we'll look for you there. And also, don't forget that March 30th is Lifespan's annual celebration of aging luncheon. We will be going to that too. We're getting busy here. Tickets are available at lifespanrochester.org and they're going quick. And no wonder because Pro Football Hall of Fame Buffalo Bill quarterback Jim Kelly is the guest speaker. It's going to be great. So it's themed Journey of Perseverance, and Jim will tell us what it really means to be Kelly Tough. It's going to be great. So it's next Thursday, or not next Thursday, but Thursday, March 30th, noon till 1:30. It's downtown at the Riverside Convention Center, and tickets are $65. So that's for the lunch and the speaker and all the stuff, and get to network and see a lot of great people there celebrating together. And the tables, you can even get tables of 8. I think there's still some of those available. So come and have lunch with us and Jim Kelly. You can pay securely and order right now, anytime on lifespanrochester.org.
Sounds good. And hey, the music tells us that we're on our way out. So thanks again for listening, everyone. Have a great week. Be well and be kind.
I can't believe it's over. Thank you to our show sponsors who make the show possible, including our presenting sponsor, the Law Office of Michael Robinson. It's been a pleasure to spend another hour with all of you, my friends, and to remind you that we care and we really do believe that seniors rock.